You might think I'm weird, but I've been dreaming of this moment for 2 years. 2 years ago, I had to move out of my dream apartment because they were raising my rent by $400. So I had to move into a 1-bedroom apartment and just kind of had to make it work. Things were insanely crowded and it just kind of felt like a mini prison. Now, fast forward 2 years later, here we are. New office, new apartment, new story arc. Now in this video, I will be building my brand new office space for 2024 for productivity, gaming, and just overall lounging. Now I'm gonna go over the main pieces of the setup. Of course, this is mostly so you guys out there can, one, gather inspo for your own space, and two, I think you guys might really like it. Now, every single great space and setup needs good support. And by support, I mean a great desk. For the last 2 years, I've been using the business standing desk from Jpndiazz with a white frame and a 70 by 29 inch tabletop. Now, I opted for the largest size possible because when it comes to productivity, I find it easier to have a larger space to lay my camera, random tools, computer, and other gear on the table while I work. Having things at arm length makes things a lot more efficient for me, and I just like to make things a lot easier as well. Going with a mostly white design, I picked the oak white frame because it's the closest full white as I could get, as they don't offer that tabletop color at the moment. I do love the color I have, but I think for the new space, I am looking to switch it up to a full white tabletop. This is mostly so I can match my 2 shelves that I already have. Now, curiously, if you guys have any recommendations on some quality, sturdy, long-lasting tabletop, please let me know in the comments down below. The difference between home, business, and executive office desks are mostly height, weight, support, as well as the speed at which the table rises. For what I'm working with, I figured that the 300-pound option was more than enough support for what I do. This desk was sent out to me for review, but it's been well over 2 years since the initial review of the desk. I can confidently say that it's made a huge difference in my day-to-day, my work, my lifestyle, and I can confidently recommend this desk to anybody who's looking for a desk for themselves. Now, I really don't have anything negative to say about the desk. I just have one single con. At this point in time, it is warping a little bit down the middle and it is tilting towards me. So what I've had to do is adjust the feet at the bottom of the lifting columns so the back of the desk and the front are even. Again, this is not a huge issue, especially with the tilting of the desk forward. This desk comes with a desk tray, which is great, but I also bought an additional cable tray holder, mostly because at my last setup, having just one tray was not enough. I had a ton of stuff hanging and it looked insane towards the end of my time there. I think long term, having 2 will serve me better. When I'm done installing mics, consoles, and other things under my desk, if you want a clean look to your setup, I definitely recommend doubling down on the desk trays. This one is from Amazon and it cost me $23 and I found it to be extremely useful. Being able to see what you're working on without straining your eyes, I think is definitely worth the investment. So that's why I went with an LG 42-inch OLED TV. I've owned this monitor since November of 2023, and it really is a beautiful piece of tech. If you've never used OLED, it's really the ideal way to consume media. I am planning on doing a full review now that I've owned it for a great amount of time. Now stay tuned if you're curious about the productivity and gaming side of using an OLED TV. I've dabbled with backlighting for this TV for quite a while now, using a bunch of different options, and I think I finally found one that I really like. I ultimately went with the Govee RGB light bars. Installation is insanely easy. You can either mount the bars or you can also place them directly on a surface, as it comes with both attachments to do so. I opted in for mounting them because I really just wanted my desk space as cleared up as I could possibly have it. I figured it would look best if I placed them on the sides instead of the top to bottom, but feel free to do as you please. I eyeballed the distance and try to get them on even distances from each other as I could. I think this helps balance out the lighting a bit more accurately in the bag and won't make one side look brighter than the other. I then attached the mount with the light bars attached so I can better gauge it, and that was it. Now stay tuned for the final results at the end of the video, where I'll show all the lighting and how everything looks during the day and at night once it's all fully set up. Now I really wanted to create a minimalist look, even though I am more of a maximalist, so I decided to mount my TV on my desk instead of placing it directly on the desk like I've had it with my previous setup. It looked great before, but I think mounting it will really elevate the look and make it look a bit more professional. Now, I really wanted to purchase the Ergotron heavy duty arm mount, but this bad boy is retailing for about $300. And considering all the move expenses and everything that I had to pay, I think it was a bit out of my budget, though in the future, I definitely want to opt in for that one. Though I still want it, I think this Vivo arm is going to do just fine for what we need right now. I went with white because I really didn't want it to stand out, as you'll be able to see the column in between the desk and the TV. I've used a black monitor arm and the black bar really just didn't look good aesthetically. During the install, I got a bit confused with the setup. The diagram was a bit hard to understand, so it did take me a little longer than I wanted to, but I figured it out. If you're mounting a TV or monitor of this size, I will recommend you do it with a second person. It definitely makes the process a lot easier, but if you don't have a second person, that's okay. You can do it just fine. I did it. It's just going to take a little bit of strength. First, position the column where you want it to go. For me, I decided to place it directly in the middle. Then you're going to want to build the attachment to the column. Place it on your TV, and lastly, mount it on the column itself. Then adjust it to the height of your choice. I think it looks good for now, and will definitely be upgrading to a more premium mount in the future, just to make my life a little bit easier. With the TV and desk in place, it was time to clean up, organize, and set up some things around the room before the next project. Guys, this project, this build took me so long to complete, and even then, I don't feel like I'm finished just yet. I just honestly didn't realize how many things I had, considering I was in a 1-bedroom apartment. All of this was in my 1 bedroom, and I shared it with my girlfriend, and it was in the living room. Anyways, listen, I might be dumb because my mouse and keyboard combo is almost $400, but I think it's worth it. I'm currently using the Razer Cobra Pro wireless gaming mouse for work, and it's just next level. From the perfect ergonomic feel in hand to the incredible lighting options, the Razer Cobra Pro might be one of my favorite picks to have on my desk right now. I haven't tested it for gaming, but for productivity, it is outstanding. And the lighting options might be the best I've seen in any handheld product today. The colors are accurate, beautifully lit and diffused, and it just looks so good on the desk and in hand. For the keyboard, I'm currently rocking my Naruto High Ground 765. This is their flagship board that features a full CNC aluminum case, gasket mounted design, and their own linear switches. This is a limited drop and it is currently sold out. A lot of their drops are usually limited, especially when they are collaborating. So follow them, keep an eye out. They make great great products, and some of my favorite keyboards in my collection are from high ground. For the price point of $260 at launch, I don't think it's worth it for the features it does offer. I won't go much into detail, but they just aren't. I bought this mainly for the collaboration and the look of the board, not exactly on the features themselves. Now, not to say this isn't a great board, it's just that the features it does offer for the insane price point aren't worth it, because you can find boards at this level of quality and that offer these type of features for a more reasonable price. Now, with a great desk and great accessories, you need a great chair. Right now, I'm using the ErgoTune Supreme. It is an ergonomic chair that adjusts to your body, giving you a ton of support while working at your desk. Now, I am a bigger guy at 6 foot, 215 pounds of straight flubber, and I will say that the medium-sized chair that they offer is a bit on the smaller side for me. I would have opted for a larger size if possible, but this was a review unit and I didn't have a ton of options available besides this. Now, I think if you're on the taller side or even larger side, I wouldn't recommend this chair at all, just mainly because the medium-sized chair is a little bit too small. I am currently on the hunt for the next chair to fit my office, one that is built for bigger guys, offers a lot of great ergonomic support, and is just aesthetically pleasing to the setup. So chairs, definitely please recommend me some chairs that I should look for. I know a lot of people said Herman Miller, but those are kind of insanely pricey and might be out of my price budget for right now. For my two shelves on opposite sides of my desk, I went with the Nathan James white bookshelves. I love the white shelving as it makes whatever I put on it stand out, and it blends in better with the walls and my setup in general. Going for a more white aesthetic for my setup, these shelves fit perfectly. I went ahead and mounted a Gobi neon rope light on each side of the shelves. Now, you might be asking why I went with the $90 option instead of just your regular $14 light strip. Now, the reason actually was that I didn't buy them for the shelves originally. I bought them for my TV, and that's one of the options that I switched out for the light bars that I'm currently using. So since it didn't work out with the TV, I decided to use them for my shelving, and they fit and look perfectly. Another great reason to consider them is the glare-free diffusion on the rope lights. You don't see the individual RGB lights stick out, as it is on the side of my shelf and not the back side. I would say if you have the option to place your lights on the back side, you can definitely go with the strips to save a ton of cash. Otherwise, this might be a great option for your setup. And I don't regret my choice or the money that I did spend on these lighting solutions. You know what they say, pay once, cry once, or for my case, pay twice and cry twice. I'm sure there's a ton of options that make it a little bit cheaper for yourself, but for me, I'm all about just getting it done. You know, if I can pay for it and just get it done, I will do it just for the sake of convenience. Now, why have an office if you're not going to maximize the space and make it pleasing to be in? So when I bought this IKEA chair, I had a vision in mind. Though it wasn't the chair I originally intended to buy for this corner, I needed something in the meantime. This corner was really meant for a lounging space where I could sit and relax, read comic books, or play on my Switch. It's really just a spot where I sit down and I unwind after a long, hard day. So with that in mind, I picked up the Pillow armchair from IKEA, which ran me about $60. The chair I originally envisioned for this space was sort of a mid-century lounge chair with an ottoman, just like this one, which I found on Amazon for about $700. And again, with the expenses of moving, the yearly Laguna Beach trip, and a bunch of other expenses that had to go, this was a bit out of my price range. Oh, and I also need a couch, so that's kind of on the radar for me as well. I do still want it, and I am going to save up for it. So you will see a change for this space, considering that I am going to get that chair. I think the chair looks fantastic in this space. I put a little throw blanket that I got on Amazon. It just really feels good, looks good, and it'll do for right now. Now, speaking of an IKEA and reading corner, I had been seeing a lot of creator spaces with the overhead lamps and lanterns, and knew that that was exactly what I was looking for my space. I found this gradient black lantern from IKEA in the sales section of the store, and I decided to get it. I wasn't sure if the black was gonna fit my space, but honestly, I I kind of dig it. You might notice a theme for the lighting, but I mostly use Govee for all my lighting solutions, at least for the most part. For the lantern, I went with the Govee RGB light bulbs. This specific pack comes with 4 bulbs, and at 800 lumens, they're decently bright for what I need them for, which is mostly mood lighting and reading light, and yeah, they're doing the job just perfectly. Now, tying the corner together, it is probably one of my favorite pickups, and it's my acrylic side table from Amazon. I opted for the orange option, but they have black, translucent white, and this orange one. This does come at a price point of $150 for one or $190 for two. A bit pricey, but definitely has been worth the money for me. It is absolutely perfect. Has a flat surface for random things I want to put on the table, like a little lamp, maybe some flowers, an ashtray, or my phone while I read. What really attracted me, aside from the aesthetics, is a little pocket for books. This was a perfect spot for my weekly comic book pickups. This helps me keep my reading organized and helps me pretty much clear my backlog. It is absolutely beautiful and really one of my favorite pickups and pieces in my space right now. What do you guys think of it? A little too trendy, or do you guys like it? Now, since the move, I have been dying to get these back on the shelf. This is my Sofubi collection. Now, Sofubi are soft vinyl figures that often draw inspiration from Japanese pop culture, mythology, monsters, and robots. The term Sofubi is derived from Japanese words for soft vinyl and sofa B. These toys are typically handmade with the sculpting and wax work done by artists. The creation of Sofubi toys follows the same design and production techniques that were developed for soft vinyl toys in Japan during the 1950s, a practice that saw a surge in popularity through the 1960s. I'm placing a bit of my collection on this silver shelf. I bought this at a yard sale actually for $1 single. It's been in my garage for months, and I'm happy to finally have a use for this. I think it looks great in the space, and I think it fits the Sofubi collection really well. I kind of felt like the shelf needed some lighting. It looked a bit dark and you couldn't really see the Sofubi all that well. So I did something a bit weird. I mounted one of those TikTok sunset lamps I got on Amazon to my door handle, and I aimed it right at the shelf. I think it creates a bit of contrast in the room, especially this corner, and it gives the pieces a bit of a more interesting feel when it comes to the lighting. I bought this mic arm from Elgato, which looks so good at the setup and meshes really well, but I decided not to keep it as I wanted to find a more minimal solution to the things I have on my desk. I want to try to keep things as uncluttered as possible, so I'm kind of looking for an option where I just have a mic on a stand, preferably white, and while I'm using it, I can have it on my desk. While I'm done with it, I can just put it away after I'm done with it. If you guys have any recommendations on some mic stands where they are for tables and they're white and just kind of clean looking, let me know down below. Now, powering the gaming side of the setup is my absolute prized possession, one of my favorite consoles of all time. And this is my Halo Infinite Xbox Series X, originally released in 2021. I managed to pick this up alongside the Pro Controller. Absolutely insane. I'm a huge Xbox gamer and have been since I was a kid, with the 360 being one of my favorite consoles of all time. I love this thing. Came with the game. The design on it is absolutely beautiful, and it even comes with its very own off and on chimes. And it has an Easter egg that I didn't even realize it had. If you flash a black light on the Galaxy part of the console, it'll reveal the hidden Easter egg. For those unaware, it's the Zeta Halo symbol, which is where the game actually takes place. I love Easter eggs and I love the special edition console. This one though has a special place at my setup. Though I didn't like the game as much as I have the other games in the past, I enjoyed it. It was okay. It was not bad, nothing crazy. The console is just beautiful. I don't discriminate, and I'm a real gamer, man. And of course, I have a PlayStation 5, which I will say it's a console that I mostly just use for their exclusives. Any third-party game, I really play it on my Xbox. Now, Sony has some of the best exclusives we've seen in gaming in a decade, easily, hands down. I love everything about this thing and really wish I had a limited edition version of it. Instead, I mounted some custom plates on it that looked so good, I think. I also mounted it underneath my desk because this thing is huge and I wanted to keep my space as minimal as possible. Now, everything that I do feature in this video, I will link down below. If I missed anything or if you're curious about something, let me know in the comments down below as well. I'll be happy to try to link you to wherever I found that. If you've enjoyed the video to this point, please drop a like, and if you want to see more of this content, subscribe to the channel as well. Now, I really love how the spaces come out so far, and I'll definitely be adding more stuff to the setup as time goes on. It just honestly feels so good to have my own space. I think it's better for my creative side. I actually want to make content again. Now, your space is literally everything, whether it's small or it's big. It's probably one of the most important things for your mental health. I'm not even exaggerating. I think it really is. So I really just want to invite you all to put a little love and effort into your surrounding, because it'll make such a huge difference in your day-to-day, the way you feel and your overall happiness. You might think it's silly, and maybe it's just because I'm 30 now and I experienced a little bit more of life, and I've lived in some bad environments, and having a good, clean space that is surrounded with all the things that make you happy is so important. So please, I invite you, create a good space for yourself. Even if you don't have a lot of money, just create something, or start creating something. Eventually, you'll build up something kind of like my setup.